actively in the economy and contribute towards building sustainable and resilient communities. Chairperson, we are equally aware that for many communities, access to water remains one of the greatest daily challenges confronting them. Water is not a luxury. It is a basic necessity of life and fundamental human right. No person should walk long distances in search of water, nor sleep without access to this essential resource. So as a province, we have elevated water provision as one of the top priorities within our service delivery agenda. To strengthen coordination, accountability, and rapid response, water war rooms have been established across all municipalities to ensure focused attention aimed at improving water supply, monitoring challenges, and accelerating solutions in affected communities. So the recent Water Summit held on 30 April marked a decisive national intervention to confront water challenges. And as a province, we fully align with the outcomes of that important gathering. Honorable Chairperson, a people-centered local government also requires ethical leadership, accountability, and responsiveness. So communities want leaders who listen, leaders who act, and leaders who understand the daily realities faced by ordinary citizens. As Limpopo Province, we remain resolute in strengthening ethical governance and intensifying the fight against corruption across all spheres of government within our province through lifestyle audits, stronger vetting processes for senior officials, and reinforced accountability mechanisms to ensure that public representatives and public servants uphold the highest standards of integrity. We have also developed strong governance structures to support an accountable and people-centered local government that municipalities perform in line with their intended objectives. This call to fix local government is a very serious one. And in heeding it, we first started to fix the provincial administration. And I can report to you, as we speak, in our province, there is no provincial department, even the legislature, that has what we call qualified audit. All of them have unqualified audit reports, and 5 of them are clean. The challenge we have that our oversight mechanism that the legislature is calling to us is that how do you replicate the same? It is here as the MEC for Finance that my Premier has directed me to ensure that we live to that one. We don't go for clean audits for the sake of it. We don't want to have a compliance freak mentality, but to ensure that if financial systems are in place, good governance is in place, you ensure that there will be service delivery. So as the provincial treasury and other role players, we are responsible for promoting accountability through ongoing support to municipalities. We support and sanction. We start with support first, and then we sanction from there. We don't micromanage. We do what we are supposed to do to ensure that they too will join the bandwagon and ensure that every cent of public funds must be directed towards improving the lives of our people and accelerating service delivery. There is no room for allowing resources meant for roads, water, healthcare, schools, and community development to be diverted through corruption and malfeasance. Honorable members, I will not have done justice if I don't emphasize that leadership must never become distant from the people. Those entrusted with responsibility as councillors, mayors, and public representatives must remain firmly connected to the communities that elected them. So leaders cannot move away from poor communities and settle comfortably in affluent centers while the people they serve continue to experience hardship without visible leadership and support on the ground. So we take charge to ensure that they retain their addresses in most cases. We therefore reaffirm our commitment to ensuring that local government remains people-centered, developmental, and responsive to community needs through rebuilding all damaged infrastructure, addressing pressing issues affecting our people, empowering our communities, creating opportunities for economic growth and jobs, and building safer, stronger, and more sustainable communities for generations to come. As the rain clouds gather, may they not become symbols of fear and destruction, but remind us that together, through unity, responsive governance, and community participation, we can weather every storm and build a better future for our people. Pula.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable Member. We shall now move to the Leader of Government Business from Mpumalanga Province, the Honorable S.K. Mashilo, who has 10 minutes.
Thank you very much, the House Chairperson, to our President of the Republic of South Africa, Honorable Ramaphosa, whom we love you so much. I received the greetings from the people of Mpumalanga. Indeed, I debate on behalf of my Premier who could not make it because of other pressing matters. To honorable premiers that are here, to members of the Ncop community of Northwest Bukono-Buphirima, good day. We gather during the month of May, a month of workers, a month of Africa solidarity, and a month that reminds us of the resilience of ordinary people across our continent. I rise in this debate, Honorable President, mindful that local government remains the sphere where citizens encounter the democratic state mostly directly. It is therefore our collective responsibility across all spheres of government to ensure that municipalities remain capable, responsive, and people-centered institutions. This debate is not only about municipalities, about the future direction of governance, development, and public confidence in a democratic institution as we approach the 2026 local government elections. Yet this year, the commemoration of Africa Month takes place against a difficult global backdrop marked by the geopolitical tension, rising fuel prices, instability in global markets, and ongoing conflicts that continue to affect economies across the world. This escalation of tensions involving the United States and Iran, together with conflicts in other regions of the world, may appear distant from the community in Mpumalanga. But this impact is felt directly by ordinary families when the global oil prices rise, transport costs increase, food prices rise, small business come under pressure, that cost of the living becomes heavier for a working class household. It is the ordinary worker, the pensioner, the unemployed graduate, the small trader, and the commuter traveling daily to work who ultimately carry the burden of global instability. It's for these reasons that government must continue building a resilient local economy, strengthening infrastructure, expanding social services, and creating opportunities closer where people live. The theme before us today, ensuring a people-centered local governments towards building better communities, therefore speaks directly to the responsibility of government to protect communities, restore dignity, and create conditions for inclusive development. A people-centered local government is one that responds to the practical realities facing communities. It is the government that understands the service delivery is not abstract concept, but something that affects the daily dignity of our people. Honorable Chairperson, this reminds me a very important matter here. In 1929, the Carnegie Commission was established just to assess the poverty of the whites community, not the Africans, only the whites. In 1932, they concluded the report and they confirmed that over 300,000 whites live below the poverty level. The English government rejected that report until 1948, when the Nationalist Party took the same document and implemented it fully and made apartheid a document that they've implemented. Our people have to wait until 1994 when we change all these things and make everybody a beneficiary of government. So today, we are one nation that we must indeed appreciate. Bushbuckridge, Honorable President, was formed in 1884 with no water. In 1926, Kruger National Park was established with a beautiful tar road, including Manyeleti. Our people have no road to travel in the area. No water, nothing. That has to wait us until 2021 and 2001, when we established Inyaka Dam, and 2005, we gave the people of Bushbuckridge water. In Mpumalanga, we remain firmly committed to build municipalities that are responsive, developmental, ethical, and capable of improving the everyday lives of our people. Honorable members, despite global uncertainty and economic pressures, Mpumalanga continued to position itself as a province of growth, investment, and opportunity. We heard you very well, Honorable President. One of the most significant developments in our province is the establishment of Mpumalanga International Food Produce Market, which is indeed expected to be open in this first quarter of the year. This development will not only strengthen food security and agricultural trade in the province, but is expected to create opportunity of almost 100,000 indirect jobs and 156 permanent jobs after that. For many young people and emerging farmers, this project represents more than infrastructure. It represents access to markets, economic participation, income generation, and a hope for a better future. In further advancing agricultural development, the provincial government has just signed an MOU involving the University of Mpumalanga and the partners from China to establish what we refer to a hybrid rice farming program in the province. This initiative has a potential to create approximately 380,000 jobs, opportunities across the agricultural value chain, while improving the food production, agricultural innovation, and indeed skills development. This intervention demonstrates that a people-centered government must not only provide services, but also create conditions for community to participate meaningfully in the economic activity. As a province, we believe people given opportunity, they can develop by themselves. Honorable Chairperson, education remains one of the most powerful instruments for breaking the cycle of poverty and inequality. The provincial government therefore remains firmly committed to expand access to quality education infrastructure, particularly for rural and vulnerable communities. During this financial year, the government will build 10 new schools, including a dedicated school for the deaf learners. This investment forms part of our broader commitment to improve access to education and ensuring that no child is left behind because of disability, poverty, or a geography. We have also expanded the constructions of a boarding school in rural municipalities, having realized that our kids in the rural communities, they deserve equally better like any other persons. This is the government of the ANC. We leave no one behind. For many families, these boarding facilities are restoring dignity, improve learner safety, increase school attendance, and create a better condition for academic performance. Indeed, we are looking not less than 90% pass come to the end of this year. This progress reflects the dedication of educators, learners, parents, and government working together to build a capable and educated society. Honorable members, people-centered government must also invest in health and well-being of its citizens. During this financial year, government will construct 4 new clinics to improve access primary healthcare services in community. We are also continuing with our program in terms of the major health projects. Lina Malachi Tertiary Hospital remains a priority project, while the Mpungwe Psychiatric Hospital project has almost done and will be start to work in very soon. The Kinyabela District Hospital in Steve Chwete Municipality is completed, operational, improved healthcare access for surrounding communities. Mapulaning Hospital Phase 2 is completed, and we have now started with Phase 3 in Mapulaning. That's in Bushbuckridge, Honorable President. where our people had no services before. They will equally have the healthcare center. Honorable Chairperson, Mpumalanga remains a youthful province. We therefore recognize its importance of sports creation, arts, culture in youth development. And for that reason, 5,000-seater indoor sports arena aimed at promoting indoor sporting codes and creating opportunities for the young talent is already underway. In this financial year, we shall have that. We mean business in the province. More northwest. At the same time, the provincial government continued to invest directly in the youth economic empowerment. Through the Premier's Youth Development Fund, more than 320 youth companies have been funded. Thank you very much, Honorable Chairman.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mashilo. The next participant in this important debate is the Honorable Sitole for 15 minutes. Jobe.
Thank you very much, Honorable Deputy Chairperson. Let me first greet the Honorable Chairperson of the Ncop, Mary Filwe Tsipani, President of the country, His Excellency Cyril Ramaphosa, Deputy Chairperson of the Ncop, Honorable Gavenda, Chief Whip of the Council, Honorable Moima, House Chairpersons, Honorable Khadebe and Honorable Ryder, Ministers and Deputy Ministers that are present here today, Premiers that are here, Kinopole Felare Lazarus Blackhead Mokhosi, Speaker of Legislature Dr. Mohono, and MECs that are here, Executive Mayors of districts and local municipalities, and speakers also of all the municipalities, all councillors and traditional leaders present, most importantly, Baagi, by Dr. K.K. Dumelang. Over 70 years ago, our people gathered in Kliptown, drafted and adopted the Freedom Charter, which is the foundational document for our struggle against the apartheid system. In that gathering, they declared that people shall govern. One of the most important clauses of the Freedom Charter was that there shall be houses, security and comfort, affirming the people's right to decent housing. As South Africa celebrated years of our democratic constitution, a document anchored on the Freedom Charter, we must reflect and introspect. This constitution was crafted to bring hope, restore dignity, and secure a better life for all South Africans. It further encourages us to improve the quality of life of all citizens and to free the potential of every person. The question we must ask ourselves is whether, through our daily actions and through our oversight visit here as the Ncop, we have indeed moved the needle in the effort to free a potential of each person in South Africa. Honorable President, the democratic government has made significant progress in delivering on the constitutional promise of decent housing, with more than 5 million housing opportunities provided across South Africa since 1994. While much more remains to be done, we must reflect on the context in which human settlement delivery takes place. The deep wound of apartheid spatial planning, deliberately designed to enforce racial segregation and placing white residential and business areas in central, well-resourced locations, while relegating black, colored Indian communities to peripheral townships, remains visible more than 30 years into democracy. Areas such as Kuma and Kanana remains painful reminder of the cruelty of apartheid spatial planning. As we conclude this Taking Parliament to the People program, we must reassure Ntate Bakhulule Mabaso from Kuma that we have heard his plea for agency, delivering quality human settlement, not only for the people of Dr. KK, but the community across the country. Honorable Andranse said here, "Cry, my beloved country." Now I'm still searching for the word of a person that puts you into misery and they come back, they act as if they rescued you. Honorable Chairperson, during the course of this week, we heard first-hand concern from Kuma members regarding a blocked project. Mefrida from Kuma Extension 6 told us that she has been waiting for a house since 2006. 20 years later, she still enjoys the indignity of living in a shack. Honorable members, this is not the hope of our constitution that we have promised. Again, Honorable Jandri, we have missed you during our oversight on this Taking Parliament to the People. But you come here and you talk as if you were part of the delegation that was going around. But anyway, re leboga motho o go tlotletseng gore re ntse re kopana leng fa fatshe fa. Mme ke go tshepitse gore go te maraganela a bana ba mpa ga a tsenwe. MEC Molapisi, the commitment made in this August House that the department has reprioritized 80% of its budget this year towards completing blocked houses must not remain merely a promise. It must become a lived reality for our people. Ncop e tla boela kwano mo profenseng ya Bokone Bophirima. Re solofela gore ga re tla re tla bona diphetogo le ditshepiso tse di dirilweng fa gore di a diragala. While we welcome the prioritization of budget to complete block project, it is equally important to ensure effective consequence management against contractors who fail to deliver on their obligation. Honorable President, go na le baagi ba ko Khuma. Baagi ba ko Khuma ba ba tswang ko hostel ya gale e re ba ntshitseng go yone ka 2014. Ra ba isa e re bitsa gore ke New Village. Ra re mo go bone re batlile go dula only 6 months. Ba iphitlhela today ba dutse 11 years mo go yone. Me ke seemo se sa tshwanela gore se ka se diragala. E fela re le African National Congress re ntse re ba tshepisa gore re tlile go tla mme ke itumela gore o teng gompieno e bila ra gopotsana le ka yone. The living conditions faced by our people in these temporary structures are heartbreaking and require urgent intervention. Families continue to enjoy inadequate shelter, overcrowding, and conditions that undermine their dignity and quality of life. I am confident, Honorable President, that you will direct all spheres of government to urgently intervene and ensure that today's long outstanding housing project is finally completed for the benefit of the resident of Kuma Hostel. Ibile ko go tshepitse gore baagi ba ko hostel ba hema ANC ba phela ANC. It is unacceptable that contractors are allowed to cause undue delays in which in turn lead to escalate project costs without being subjected to appropriate corrective measures and accountable mechanism. A culture of non-performance without consequence undermines service delivery, erodes public trust, and weakens the credibility of government programs. Honorable members, municipalities remain the spheres of government closest to the people and to service delivery. The challenges facing these spheres cannot be overstated, as weakness within the municipality directly affected the quality of life experienced by our communities. The ANC is well aware of all the challenges facing local government, and we have decided that no one of the critical tasks for 2026 is to fix government and improve the basic services. We are aware that there is a lack of suitable and well-located land for low-income housing, and the inability of the municipality to find a solution has aggravated the housing backlog and lead to delays in finding a permanent solution for resettled communities. Honorable Chairperson, we welcome progress in refurbishing water waste treatment plan within the city of Matlosana. Functional water waste treatment plan are not only essential for service delivery, but also critical for environmental preservation and public health. Honorable President, we commend you for the decisive directive to review the white paper on local government. This intervention will hopefully remove the structural obstacles that have hampered the effectiveness of local government and delivery quality services to our people. Honorable members, we live in an era of global warming and climate change, which requires municipalities to develop effective climate adaptation strategies. These include investing in the resilient infrastructure such as flood-resistant roads, enhancing water security, integrated climate adaptation into integrated development plans, and building institutional capacity within local government to implement climate resilience measures. Honorable President, the decision to broaden the mandate of the Department of Human Settlement from narrow focus on housing to a more holistic approach of human settlement was both necessary and progressive. Ntate Mosimane gape Mathebula of Ikageng Ward 20, we have heard your call that government must do more to ensure access to basic services such as water, sanitation, road, electricity, and schools, so that human settlement are developed in a holistic and dignified manner. In line with this call, I appeal to the MEC of Human Settlement in the Northwest to urgently honor the commitment made to the disabled gentleman in Jacaranda that he will be prioritized for housing. Honorable members, municipality will only be effective if they create a conducive environment for economic development and growth. Many communities continue to experience the harsh realities of unemployment and poverty on a daily basis. It is with this context that we raise concern regarding the stalled and urban blues international gas to power project, which was envisaged not only to contribute towards electricity security, but also to create a much needed job opportunities for the youth of the city. The municipality, working together with the provincial government, must move with speed to ensure that this important project is realized. Community cannot continue to wait while opportunities for economic growth and employment remains delays. The delays caused by rezoning and transfer of the land, environmental rehabilitation requirements, and outstanding provincial approvals needed for the project to proceed must be finalized. In conclusion, I urge all government officials at all spheres of government to roll up their sleeves and work tirelessly to realize the promises of the Freedom Charter. Let us recommit ourselves to the pledge to strive together, sparing neither strength nor courage, until the democratic changes here set out have been won. Let us work to restore our people's dignity. Our people demand no less, and we dare not fail them. Nakensa.
Thank you, Honorable Sithole, for your input. The next speaker on the podium is going to be Councillor Stofile, the President of Salga.
Thank you very much. Greetings to you, Chair of the session. Greetings to the Chair of the Ncop. The greetings to the President of the Republic or President General of the Joint Forces of the Republic, the Deputy Chair of the Ncop, the parliamentary committees that are present here, and of course, special greetings to the premiers of our province, the MSCs that are present here, the SALGA National Executive Committee members, and the chair of the Northwest Province of SALGA. It is once again my honor, on behalf of the collective leadership of organized local government and the sphere of local government, to contribute towards the debate in the President's annual address to the Ncop during the occasion of this week program, Taking Parliament to the People. In this beautiful province of Northwest, which is rich with an endowments, but poor that those endowments do not benefit them, the populace of this area. As we gathered here today, we continue to witness the scale of the threat posed by the climate change and the impact that it has on the lives of our communities. The extensive wildfire a few months back and now severe storms are all confirmation of the threat posed by climate change. As the collective of local government at local and national and provincial level, it requires to work together. We must give greater consideration to combating climate change and fundamental change our perspective approach with regard to planning of the climate change. We must reaffirm our call for greater collective climate action. Our thoughts are with our people in the province of the Western Cape, Eastern Cape, Northern Cape, and most recently in the Northwest Province. Disasters such as severe flooding, droughts, and wildfires severely cripple municipalities by destroying essential infrastructure, depleting financial reserves, and disrupting basic service delivery. These events strained local budgets, forces emergency redeployment of staff, and trigger systemic challenges that take years to repair. It is during these moments that we must acknowledge, respect, and reject any notion that there is a general lack of appreciation from municipal officials and councillors. While many officials and councillors work diligently, often in difficult conditions, the public perception is frequently overshadowed by systemic failures. It is therefore our responsibility as organized local government to be the voice of reason and use moments such as these to display our diligence. The Constitution of the Republic entrenches local government as a fully fledged sphere of government in a system of cooperative governance in which the three spheres are distinct yet interrelated. This week, as Parliament, through the National Council of Provinces, in partnership with the province of the Northwest Government and municipalities in this province, in the Kenneth Kaunda district, descended in the city of Matlosana and engaged with the people. One reality we must accept is that these conversations took place with ordinary people from a local government community level, a space where the will of the people finds most expression through the direct elections of mayors in rendering service to our communities. A space where councillors as public office bearers cannot hide from ordinary people under the guise of blue lights, bodyguards, and high electrical fences walls. A space where there are no office hours and yet very little appreciation and reward. A space where those speaking from a privilege find it convenient to pass the buck, if not pass the blame. A space where public service is a curse, where criminal elements visit us at night, when we are at our most vulnerable time, when we are spending times with our families and loved ones, to eliminate or attempt to scare and intimidate us, a space where our obituaries are read too often, a space where dedicated warriors, people servants who had dedicated their lives to serving others were selflessly devoted and fearless in putting the interest of their people above their own, had their lives cut short. And here we are reminded of Councillor Jimmy Muhlala, Moses Big Moses Maluleka, Muzi Manyati, and Ngobi Mulefe, to mention but the few, a space where many of us continue to take the responsibility of public office as reliable and committed leaders, despite the curse. Chair of the session, as the sphere of local government is the closest one to the people, we plead for your intervention and the intervention of this House in ensuring that appropriate application of support by provincial and national governments to local government to perform functions and discharge their duties and responsibilities. It is our considered view that not much has been done to diligently give effects to Section 154 support, but instead observe an unprecedented state of inappropriate invocation of Section 139 intervention. Some perpetual since time immemorial, whilst others have not been assisted with capacity since the 2021 elections. Instead, directly imposed with Section 139 intervention, even in the instances where Section 154 support intervention will be the most appropriate type of intervention. Chair of the session, with this context, where government has for the past 26 years introduced numerous interventions to improve the functioning of municipalities with very minimal success, should we not instead use the opportunity presented by the review of the white paper on local government to examine the fiscal architecture, the powers and functions, accountability, and that service ethos should underpin the remodeling of the local government system in the Republic. Our considered view is that the challenges facing us to redress poverty, inequality, and underdevelopment can only be addressed through a concerted efforts by government acting as a whole in all spheres, working together and integrating our actions in the provisions of services and development of our communities. Ultimately, the three spheres must together provide effective, transparent, accountable, and coherent government for the public, for the Republic of South Africa. And therefore, we are in agreement with you that banks and insurance must play a role in making sure that the financial viability of municipalities is realized. A vehicle, when it hits a pole, a poor mayor that is blamed today and tomorrow had to steal money somewhere in the budget to fix the pole that have been hit by a vehicle. As we march towards the 6th democratic local government elections on the 4th of November, as was pronounced by the President General this year, it is our view that local government has had a profound impact on the lives of ordinary South Africans in expanding the provisions of services to our people. While it is true that several serious and complex challenges persist in many of our municipalities, by and large, local government has delivered quality services and a better life. The majority of our people, as confirmed by the official statistics, it tells us the story of the journey of the transformation. As I draw to conclusion, Chair, I once again stand before you on behalf of the leadership collective of organized local government and the local government leaders from all our municipalities throughout the country and pledge our positive response as we embrace the spirit of citizens' activism. Our communities look up to us in this period of need, difficult and complex as it may be. President Nelson Mandela always encouraged us when he launched SALGA that once implored on us to use our freedom to light the path to a more humane, more caring society. He demanded that we lift our sights far into heroism, that we use our voices to proclaim our freedom. Close quote. In turn, our history taught us that we need to be courageous and resilient, that we embrace the challenges, that we be strong, that we be confident, that we be humbled, that we be patient and focus to the ball. As we now reflect on the past few days, as we attempt to answer many questions provided, clarities and mistake contributions, let me conclude, as I have recently done on many platforms, by quoting a very important quote, a Burkina Faso leader. Our revolution is not about public speaking, tournament. Our revolution is not about a battle of fine phrases. Our revolution is not simple, not spouting slogans that are no more than signals used by manipulators. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Stofile, for your input. But what I like to bring to the attention of the delegates is that this mic does not respond. It does not work when that mic is on, not with the speaker on the podium. So I'll request the delegates to be watchful of the time which they are allocated to, because Rule 60 was crafted intentionally so that the time can be shared equitably. The next speaker who's invited to the podium is the Honorable Premier of Bukoni-Bupirima, LK Muhosi.
Thank you very much, Chair of the session. The Chairperson of the National Council of Provinces, Mary Filwe Ntweni-Tsipane, Deputy Chair of the National Council of Provinces, Honorable Les Govender, His Excellency President Cyril Matamela Ramaphosa, the Speaker of the Northwest Provincial Legislature, Dr. Desbo Mohono, all premiers from different provinces, the Chief Whip of the National Council of Province, Tate Kenimwimang, the Chief Whip of the Northwest Provincial Legislature, honorable members of the Ncop, special and permanent delegates, MECs present here today, House of Traditional Leaders, Executive Mayor of Matlosane, the city, Executive Mayor of the district, Medikuenu, all senior management of government, President of Salga, and the Chairperson of the Northwest Salga. Kalidumedisa, Bokolojang, Bahaicho, Bamu Dr. KK, Bahi Barona Ba Northwest, Dumela. I'll also just have a different chair of the session, like I normally do when I address the Ncop. Because I'm the hosting premier, I'll be a little bit focused and not be all over. But let me start by saying that we are also excited, and we thank you very much, the chair of the Ncop, for bringing parliament to the people, and you decided to bring it to the Northwest Province. And we thank you very much. As our people are excited and they are happy that government is here, and they also get the feel to sense and how parliament works. And thank you very much for that decisive decision. President, also we want to thank you, like we want to follow what Gauteng has said, that we also asked you personally. And I remember when I went to see you in Pretoria, I said, can you please expedite the intervention to bring soldiers to the illegal mining that is taking place in the Northwest. We also say thank you very much for your response, and it was a swift response. We are very happy for that. President, also want to tell you today that the heavy rains that took place in this country, and in particular in this province, also had a very serious impact in the lives of our people. Schools were disrupted. Our daily lives were also disrupted. People could not access their amenities and their medical care and clinics and hospitals. People were displaced and so forth. Some of our people in our communities died. And we want to say the provincial government, through its disaster center, is on the ground. Assessments are made. We are going to report to you nationally, but we would expect a swift response in terms of intervention and assistance as a province. President, we just want to officially say your government is with the people, is on the ground, and therefore they are doing their work. President, there was a cry-beloved country in Matlosana. On Wednesday, in Ward 20 in Matlosana, there was a by-election. 80% of the people of Ward 20 voted the African National Congress. Some of the people who come here, they were not even participating in the election. I want to say to you, President, that vote is a vote of confidence. It's a vote of people who are saying the leader of the society, which is the ANC, understand our challenges. They understand our situation. They understand our circumstances, and they are committed and resolute. They will resolve our challenge and our problems. So I'm saying, people of Matlosana, they still have confidence in the party that calls the African National Congress. Honorable Chair, today's event marks the final day of a week-long engagement with the residents of Dr. Kenneth Kaunda District Municipality on the visit of the National Council of Provinces. Today's sessions held under the theme, and I quote, ensuring a people-centered local government towards building a better communities, affirms our ongoing efforts to live up to the ideals and objectives of our national democratic project. This includes building a capable, ethical, and developmental state that can drive job creation, reduce poverty, address inequalities, and tackle high cost of living. As we execute this mammoth task, we are reminded of the words of a revered leader of our continent, Julius Nyerere, when he said, and I quote, if real development is to take place, the people have to be involved, unquote. This assertion by Nyerere is given impetus by the preamble of our Constitution, which impresses upon us to prioritize the dignity of our people by improving their quality of life through building better communities. Bagaetsho, we have heard your cries, Bagaetsho ba rona ba mo Matlosana in particular. We have heard your concerns and your proposed solutions. We understand your frustrations, and we are hard at work to turn the tide against a litany of challenges raised during the entire week. In bolstering these efforts, particularly in bringing about administrative stability and sound financial management in Matlosana, we have recently implemented Section 139, subsection 5 and A of the Constitution through the deployment of a provincial executive representative to assist with a financial recovery plan. Amongst others, we are focused on the enhancement of the revenue collection. We also focus on improving the financial control mechanisms in the municipality We are also insisting on a funded budget, and we are also focusing on reduction of the unauthorized fruitless expenditures and so forth. We also recently, President, invoked Section 106 in the municipality to investigate, and the report is out, and as provincial government, as we speak, encouraged by our priority to uproot corruption, secondly, to build a capable and ethical state, we are implementing, President, all the recommendations which are coming from the 106 report. This is primarily aimed at ensuring that the municipality, President, meets its financial commitment and roll out an uninterrupted provision of services to residents. We believe that this intervention will culminate into what we have managed to achieve in one of our municipalities called Kgosi Ramotsere Muilwa, local municipality in Ngaka Modiri Molema. We managed, following years of instability in that municipality and stagnation, to stabilize the municipality. As previously indicated, Infrastructure South Africa has officially, based on the performance and the assessment of that municipality, adopted this municipality and several projects, President, in the form of roads projects, water projects, and sanitation will be rolled out from September this year in Ramotsere Muilwa. A similar approach, President, is being touted for Matlosane municipality. And once we are convinced that Matlosane is out of the woods, a solid business case will be consolidated for consideration by Infrastructure South Africa and other developmental institutions. Honorable President, we can report to this House that the much anticipated the provincial growth and development strategy has been officially launched to boost investor confidence and accelerate growth and create jobs in the province. While we acknowledge—
Honorable Premier, on the note of the provincial growth strategy, your time has expired.
Thank you very much.
The next speaker on the podium is Honorable Billy, a delegate from KwaZulu-Natal, the province of the rickshaws.
The Honorable House Chair, Honorable President, honorable members, and fellow South Africans. This week, as we bring Parliament to the people of the Northwest, we have not just heard statistics and presentations. We heard the pain, the frustration, and disappointment of ordinary South Africans who feel abandoned by the very government that promised them dignity and a better life. Residents told us about transformers that burn every time it rains, leaving communities without electricity for weeks. Mothers cannot cook, children cannot study, small businesses cannot survive. We heard about cable theft that has become so common that darkness itself has become normal. Communities live without functioning streetlights, while crime continues to rise and municipalities fail to respond. We heard about informal settlements growing faster than municipalities can manage, while illegal electricity connections continue placing enormous pressure on collapsing infrastructure. We heard from young people in Matlosana who are not asking for handouts. They are asking for skills, for jobs and opportunities. They want a mining school in one of the country's biggest mining regions so they can participate meaningfully in the economy instead of sitting unemployed while politicians make empty promises. But perhaps most heartbreaking of all, Mr. President, is that we witnessed a government that has simply stopped caring. One of the most painful oversight visits this week was to the Klerksdorp wastewater treatment works, a plant designed to process millions of liters of sewage every day has completely collapsed. Since 2023, untreated sewage has flown directly into the Strait and eventually into the Vaal River. Communities downstream are paying the price of ANC failure through polluted water, environmental destruction, and collapsing public health system. Honorable President, this is not governance, this is neglect. This is what happens when corruption, when cadre deployment, when incompetence and political arrogance become the foundation of government. Mr. President, we also visited health facilities where another crisis is unfolding. The Health Oversight Group found clinics terrorized by illegal taverns and shebeens operating nearby. At Kanana Clinic, the situation is so severe that the clinic building itself has bullet holes from violence linked to tavern operating right next door. Imagine that, Mr. President. Patients seeking health care in a building marked by gunfire. Health workers are expected to serve communities while operating under intimidation and danger. And the law is very clear. Alcohol may not be sold within 500 meters of a clinic. So the question is, where is the liquor board? Where are the police? Why are municipalities failing to enforce bylaws? Why are these illegal taverns allowed to destroy communities and undermine healthcare facilities? Mr. President, these illegal taverns must shut down immediately. The ANC has broken local government in many parts of this country, and the people know it. But fellow South Africans, there is also something else we witnessed in the Northwest, and that is hope. Because communities are beginning to realize something important. It does not have to be like this. When the DA governs, things work better. And that is not a slogan. It's a proven reality. In Cape Town, residents receive some of the best basic services in the country. The President has said it before. In Umgeni, local municipality, a province I come from, in KwaZulu-Natal, clean governance, infrastructure investment, and service delivery have become the standard way of doing things. The President has said it himself. In Midvaal, local municipality in Gauteng, not far from here, people experience stable governance, investment, and dignity. The President has said it right here. Whether rural or urban, large or small, when the DA is given an opportunity to govern, communities improve, because we believe in government exists to serve people, not politicians. The DA fixes roads instead of stealing road budgets. The DA repairs infrastructure instead of allowing it to collapse. The DA appoints qualified people instead of politically connected cadres. The DA governs with accountability, urgency, and transparency. And most importantly, the DA respects the people who pay for government. Mr. President, the people of Northwest are not asking for luxury. The people of Northwest, they are not asking for stacks of dollars. They are asking for electricity, for clean water, for safe clinics, for working sewage, for safer streets, opportunities for their children. These are not impossible demands. They are minimum expectation of a constitutional democracy. But after decades of ANC government, many communities still live as though a functioning democracy never arrived. To the people of Northwest and South Africa, you are not trapped. You are not powerless. Through your vote, your communities can work again. But don't take my word for it. Take the President's word. who acknowledge that the DA governs municipalities better. I thank you.
All right, can the House be in order, please? We are running behind schedule. The House is running behind schedule. The next speaker on the podium is going to be Honorable Farmer from the Western Cape.
Before you start my time, Chair, with your permission, I would like to inform the House of an elderly lady on Wednesday crying in this passage for the sewage at her house that's not being solved. She told us of the number of places that she went to for assistance and help never came. The chairperson of that session, Honorable Bones Modise, called her to the front and told her to go to the MM, give her details so that we can follow up. Mr. President, last night we received pictures of brand new sewage being installed at that lady's house. This is the difference that taking Parliament to the people can produce. Thank you, Chairperson. Honorable Chairperson, Honorable President, honorable members, but most of all, honorable people of this beautiful province. It's a shame that the DA must use a brilliant young man to lie. If you talk about sewage running down the streets, I can take you to Wallisdean in Cape Town. I can take you to Philippi in Cape Town. This beautiful run province of the Western Cape needs to be put under administration because of the failure of building houses for their people. Close to R1 billion has been sent back to national government for not delivering houses. We are gathered here today not just to discuss logistics, but to discuss dignity. In 1994, a promise was made to the people of this country, a promise of a better life, of functional, accessible, and dignified services. Today, over 30 years into our democracy, we must be honest. For too many of our citizens, that promise remains unfulfilled. We see it in the protests, we hear it in the complaints, and we feel it when basic infrastructure fails. The problem isn't just a lack of resources, it's a crisis of attitude. It is a shift from the servant leadership model of Batu Pele toward an inward-looking bureaucratic culture. Today I call for a radical, immediate change in mindset from each and every public servant. Too often citizens are treated as a nuisance rather than the reason for our employment. We have witnessed a disconnection between the political administrative interface, where officials at the coalface feel disempowered or unmotivated to serve. Changing the attitude means moving away from "I am doing you a favor" to "it is my duty to assist." It means eliminating the silo mentality where departments fail to communicate and replacing it with an integrated, collaborative approach to solving problems like water leaks, potholes, and power failures. A professionalized, ethical, and capable state cannot exist without a public service that takes pride in its work. We must change for a culture of apathy, from a culture of apathy to a culture of empathy. We must move from being bureaucrats to being change makers. Service delivery is the cornerstone of our social contract. When it fails, social cohesion breaks down. When it succeeds, democracy thrives. Let us rebuild trust, one interaction, one service complaint, one repaired pipe at a time. Let us stop working for the government and start working for the people. Mr. President, Munibaizani, salute.
Thank you, Honorable Farmer, for your input. Honorable delegates, the front desk is now disrupting the house. That front desk is disrupting the house. All right, without further ado, honorable delegates, I've got pleasure in announcing the presence of the Khoisan community in our midst. They are heartily welcome as part of the community of Bokoni Bophirima. We really appreciate their active interest in the issues of the province. So the next speaker on the podium is going to be the Premier of the Northern Cape, the province of the Orange, Honorable Saul.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker of the session. Let me take this opportunity to greet the National Chair of the Council of Provinces, Honorable Refilwe Tsuenitsipane, and let me also greet His Excellency, President Cyril Ramaphosa. I saw other premiers were bragging about winning by-elections. I thought it would be amiss of me if I don't do the same. We have just won a award from a civic movement and gained full control of Siatemba municipality in the Northern Cape. We also doubled our electoral support in a historically DA-dominated ward. Let me greet the Deputy Chair and greet the Chief Whip of the National Council of Provinces, and let me greet all the traditional and religious leaders. And because of time, Honorable Chair, let me then stand on the established protocol. It is with profound sense of appreciation that I welcome the address delivered by the President, Comrade Cyril Ramaphosa. Comrade President, despite all the seemingly insurmountable challenges, the country is moving forward in a right direction. As your soldiers, we remain undeterred with unflinching resolve and commitment to improve the quality of lives of the people of this country and my province. The theme of this debate, ensuring a people-centered local government towards building better communities, relates directly to the daily lived realities of the 1.4 million people in the Northern Cape that account for almost 400,000 households. To give account of the transformation journey since 1994 is telling a story of change. In 1995, only 36% of households in the province had access to piped water in their dwellings or in their yards. Today, 82% and 14% have access to community standpipes. In 1995, Honorable President, 31% of households have access to flush toilets and connected to public sewage system. Today, 73% of households have got access to flush toilets, and 16 are using modern ventilated pit latrines. In 1995, only 42% of households had access to electricity, and today, 95% of households have access to electricity in the province. In 1995, only 18% of households had waste removal once a week. Today, 77% of households have their waste removal removed every week. In 1995, Honorable President and honorable members, 52% of households were informal. Today, only 13% of households are informal in the Northern Cape. All of this is because people chose the party of Oliver, Reginald Tambo, Nelson Mandela, Thabo Mbeki, and now Cyril Ramaphosa to bring about these changes. With this positive development trajectory, the call should be rise the beloved country, a call to action and hope rather than a misplaced lamentation, cry the beloved country. Distorting Alan Patton's 1948 novel, which was meant to expose the human cost of apartheid. So the honorable member vulgarized the brilliant work of Alan Paton. Alan Paton was a white anti-apartheid activist and was never an apartheid apologist, as many leaders of the DA. Honorable Chairperson, as a former student of African literature and diaspora, who extensively studied the work of Alan Paton, I want to assist the honorable member with most relevant quotations.
Just a minute, Honorable Premier. Please, there's a lot of noise on this side. Let us give the Premier a chance to make his presentation. Over to you, Premier.
So, Honorable Chairperson, as a former student of African literature and diaspora, who extensively studied the work of Alan Paton, I want to assist the honorable member with the most relevant quotation from the book, Cry the Beloved Country.
This is what Alan Paton said about apartheid. I quote, "It is a tragic compound of an immoral ideal of racial division and fearful practice." I close quote. In the same novel, he goes further to say, I quote, "I see only one hope for our country. That is, when white people and black people come together to work for it." I close quote. Honorable Chairperson, we intervene decisively in municipalities based on our 10-point turnaround plan. The plan focuses on stabilizing municipalities. One such example is the intervention in Solplaatje municipality. The Section 139 intervention is directed at restoring administrative stability, strengthening governance system, improving infrastructure maintenance, and rebuilding public confidence in the municipality. Through the Municipal Infrastructure Grant, all 25 local municipalities continue to receive support for planning and implementation of infrastructure grants. It is important, Honorable President, to report that for the financial year 2024-2025, municipalities in the province spent 87% of the allocated MIG grants. And for 2025-2026 financial year, 522 million rand has been allocated, which is an increased figure, particularly to 6 municipalities in the province. By now, 65% of these have been spent, and our goal is to achieve 100% expenditure this financial year. There will undoubtedly be consequences for any municipality that fails to spend 100% of its MIG allocation. In addition,
The province also secured substantial support through the budget facility for infrastructure program, where 2.5 billion was approved for bulk water infrastructure in Solplaatje municipality. Comrade President, we highly appreciate this intervention. Currently, there are 9 projects which are being implemented in Solplaatje municipality. Honorable Chair, we are intensifying our efforts to ensure water security and adequate sanitation for all our communities. During the 2025-26 financial year, investment in water and sanitation infrastructure in the Northern Cape amounted to approximately 1.27 billion, with 9 projects completed across the province benefiting more than 21,800 households. Conditional grant allocation for the coming financial year includes 385 million from the Water Services Infrastructure Grant and 874 million through the Regional Bulk Infrastructure Grant. These interventions matter because dignity begins with access to basic services. Honorable members, financial sustainability remains central to the long-term viability of our municipality. The Northern Cape Provincial Treasury has significantly re-engineered its support model to decentralize assistance and place technical support closer to municipalities. This also includes intensification of interventions aimed at improving audit outcomes, reducing irregular expenditure, and strengthening consequence management. As a result, 8 municipalities improved their audit outcomes in the previous financial year. Provincial Treasury has worked closely with municipalities participating in the ESCOM debt relief program. 6 municipalities in the province have already benefited from debt write-offs amounting to 447 million. Honorable Chair, building better communities is also about growing the economy through different interventions. Critical to growing the economy is massive rollout of infrastructure and creation of sustainable jobs. The Ncop just approved the Provincial Infrastructure Plan 2040. For the first 4 years of the implementation of the plan, the provincial government will spend 25 billion rand on social and economic infrastructure. To strengthen our efforts to fight unemployment, and particularly unemployment amongst young people, we also approved the Northern Cape Jobs
Honorable
Plan.
Premier, on the note of fighting unemployment for the young people, your time has expired.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Premier. The next speaker on the podium is going to be Honorable Van der Berg from the Northern Cape, the province of the Oograbis Falls. You have muted yourself.
So there we go. Thank you, Chairperson. Premier, you should have just asked. I have got a lot of minutes extra, so I could have helped you. In the Northern Cape, we help each other. Anyway,
Chairperson, Honorable President, colleagues and citizens,
during our oversight visit to the Kosh area this week, we wanted to ensure that local government is truly people-centered. Parliaments exist precisely for this reason, to hear the voices of the people and to convey their needs in order to secure better governance. Throughout the ages, as soon as people started to live in communities, humanity has learned that leadership is necessary to maintain order, ensure security, and deliver basic services. But we have also learned the hard way that leaders who gain power often begin to protect and enrich themselves instead of listening to those they serve. Parliaments serve to remind leadership of the will of the people, and this week the citizens spoke clearly. Ms. Juake told us how informal businesses in the area collapsed due to deteriorating infrastructure and theft. Mines have closed, unemployment has risen sharply, and empty buildings in old mining areas are being occupied by criminals. Mr. Mojaki and many other residents complained that the mayor does not keep his promises and that targets for electricity supply are continually shifted. One resident stated plainly, the Matlotsano municipality does not have the capacity to even install an electrical transformer. Cable theft is rampant, and communities have to patrol the area by themselves just to keep the lights on. Ms. Kanana described the security problems, burglaries and murders in the area, and emphasized how important good street lighting is. Chairperson, after hearing complaint after complaint about power failures, unemployment, crime, tender fraud, and incomplete projects,
Local government's response is the same every time. Blame shifting and denial of responsibilities.
officials point fingers at other departments, make vague promises about future projects, and try to pacify communities instead of solving problems. The Freedom Front Plus believes it could and must be different. We call for proper law enforcement and the end of corruption in municipalities. Local government must be rebuilt from the ground up. We must get rid of all these tenderpreneurs and unnecessary projects. Services and maintenance must be insourced and delivered by competent personnel who want to make it work and are motivated to make a difference. Rather, appoint plan makers and doers, not tender creators. The sad reality is that we witnessed here is repeating itself too many times. The sad reality is that what we witnessed here is repeating itself in too many towns across South Africa. Unfavorable labor actions, policy uncertainty, BEE requirements, and uncertainty around ownership have chased away investors. And this is what has made the mines to rather close operations and the employment they bring. Welfare and the leniency in collection of municipal bills in exchange for political votes have become the new normal. Citizens who came to speak to us are good, informed people who know their rights and they can articulate their issues well. Continue to raise your voices. Be active citizens and make sure your voices are heard at the ballot box on 4 November. Appoint a local government that serves you and cut out the self-serving fat cats. Only you can make the change. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Van den Berg. The next speaker on the podium is Honorable Peter from Eastern Cape, Home of Legends.
Honorable Mamun Sueni, Ncop Chairperson, Honorable President of the Republic of South Africa, and my President of the United Democratic Movement, Bantu Bonge, the General Holomisa. I stand here today to declare to this province of Northwest that the prestige of the people has to be restored in all cost. People has to be protected from those who sit in the benches of government in order to destroy the gains who were fought by our grandfathers. Chairperson of the session, now is the time for those who have deprived their democratic right be rescued, not tomorrow, but now. Those who were serving the people, they have turned themselves to be the bosses of the people. They are no longer serving the interest of the people of Matlosana. They are serving their own interest as the bosses. Through the mandate given unto them by the same people, once the people of Matlosana turns up to the streets, they open cases against them. against their own voters. What kind of a leadership that we're having? We all hear the cry of the Matlosana and surrounding areas about their safety. The government officials are no longer civil servants. They are giants who chase them, who chase the people just for their own needs. Siphi kanti apha Mongameli? Xa abantu basivotele siphinde sibavulele cases, kanti siphi apha? Sewer spillages, potholes, izindlela Mongameli azikho. Uhambe kwi-potholes ngokubusiza apha Mongameli. Wena uqala okanye bakuhambise kwindlela ezizodwa. What does that mean, President? President, kukumama apha ebe ne-sewerage endlini yakhe. Ulungiselelwe namhlanje kuba sikhona. For 5 years, la mama unukusela isiwa. Siphi kanti Mongameli? There is no longer government in Matlosana and surrounding areas. Now is the time for the people to save themselves. If you cannot save yourselves by your acts, you will remain in the storage. Mongameli, my last expansion conclusion, Chairperson. There's a life spillages in Matlosana. People have been killed through their houses. People have been killed because they can't say nothing by the same officials whom they serve. Same officials are criminal. The state has been conquered by the criminals. Mongameli siyakucela uzukuyokrobe ebhayi phaya. Kukho indawo eyakhiwayo pha Mongameli. Mandiqale kule ndawo phambi ndifike phaya ebhayi. Mongameli, there's a tendency here. When the government do good, some of the members, they claim that the NC has done the best. Then when the government do bad, some of your members, President, they said the government of the GNU has done bad. Mongameli, if unoya paye pai, Kukwindaw Pa has been built, beautiful houses. Enye Yozandau is my ward, Ward 41. That's my ward. There's a nice houses there. But aban balapo zange bafumana the title deeds. Zabasmane Mongameli. You build beautiful houses, but where is the title deeds? Siyanicela Mongameli khawuyojonga pha. Okokugqibela khawuyosave umeya waseBhayi. Uyachabalala Mongameli. Itown yethu, itown yaseNigeria. Itown yaseSomalia. Awunawungena ecoastini. Akusekho umuntu omnyama. Ndiyabonga Mongameli.
Thank you, Honorable Peter, for your input. The next speaker on the podium is Honorable Badenhorst from the Western Cape, the Cape of Storms.
House Chairperson, Mr. President, fellow South Africans, honorable members, Ndumelang. Likai. I keep saying. Mr. President, it's interesting to note that the EFF and the MK has foregone their opportunity to take part in today's debate. Let's hope that the people who vote for them in the local government elections will show the same interest in them in November later on this year. If we are serious, Mr. President, about ensuring a people-centered local government towards building better communities, we must begin by asking a very simple question. Where are the people in this ANC-led government? Because across South Africa, wherever the ANC rules, and especially here in the Northwest, communities are not experiencing a people-centered state. They're experiencing collapsing municipalities, sewage in the streets, broken roads, water shortages, corruption, care deployment, and political elites who have become disconnected from ordinary citizens. The people of Matlosana do not need slogans anymore. They need a functioning government. Meneer die president, die inwoners van hierdie dorp soek plaaslike regering wat werk. Hulle soek nie meer leuns nie en beloftes nie. And this is where the ANC has fundamentally failed South Africans. The truth is that corruption has hollowed out local government. Money meant for development is too often redirected into patronage networks and political protection schemes. What we witnessed this week was a complete collapse of accountability. On far too many oversight visits this week, Parliament was met not by decision makers, but by junior officials sent to absorb the pressure while political and administrative leadership conveniently disappeared. No mayor, very few MMCs, very few directors, and the municipal manager was also missing in action. Here's the thing, Mr. President. Ordinary South Africans are entitled to ask difficult questions. South Africa has strict exchange control legislation. As you know, ordinary citizens cannot simply keep large quantities of undeclared foreign currency hidden in their homes without facing serious scrutiny from law enforcement and regulatory authorities. So the question begs, Mr. President, what would happen if an ordinary South African in Joburg or Alabama was found with stacks of US dollars hidden inside a couch in their homes? Would SAP simply walk away? Would SARS ask no questions? Would the Reserve Bank remain silent? Would there be no immediate criminal investigation? Of course not. That ordinary citizen would face the full might of the law. And that's precisely why accountability matters. Because a people-centered government cannot operate with one set of rules for political elites like the President and another for ordinary citizens struggling to survive. And this becomes even more serious when we remember the oath taken by the President when he took office. The President swore to obey, observe, uphold and maintain the Constitution and all other laws of South Africa. Not some laws, Mr. President, not the convenient laws. All the laws, Mr. President. That oath is not ceremonial. It's a sacred constitutional commitment to the people of South Africa. Because once citizens begin to believe in those in power or above the law, trust in democratic institutions collapses. And when trust collapses, local government collapses with it. And then you get what we see in Makrusana this week. There's no way, but there is a way, Mr. President, to fix local government. The residents of the Western Cape fixed their local government in 2010 when they turned their backs on the ANC lies and corruption. They voted for the Democratic Alliance. The DA believes local government must return to its constitutional purpose, serve communities, not politically connected cronies. Go and look where the DA governs. And yes, honourable members, the DA, we don't claim perfection, but we do demonstrate that clean audits, functioning infrastructure and better service delivery is possible. Honourable Farmer, you forgot to mention Beaufort West, which you guys broke. The Patriotic Alliance broke Beaufort West. And you forgot to mention how you are busy bizaing in Knysna. In the DA-led Western Cape, DA-led local governments continue to outperform because we understand the simple principle. Government exists to serve residents, not politicians. Unlike the ANC in the Northwest, the DA ensures that every cent collected from ratepayers delivers actual services. Premier Mogotsi, sorry, you said the ANC understands the challenges of local government. One would argue that the ANC created the challenges in local government. People-centered government begins when leaders stop protecting themselves and start delivering for the people who elected them. Honourable Sufi, you have a unique way of contributing to a debate without actually adding much. Don't fear the DA ministers that are doing so well. They're doing better in 20 months than what the ANC ministers did in 30 years. Go and check what Joe Amapanyazi is doing in Gauteng. That's fallen to pieces, and that's why you have to have the army sorting out the Zamazamas. Scores of community members have stood patiently in long queues this week to tell Parliament about how the ANC has failed. On the 4th of November, those same people will be able to queue at the election voting box. The people of Orkney, Stilfontein, Hartbeesfontein and Klerksdorp, you can make your cross for the DA and change.
On that note of your cross, your time has expired.
Thank you.
The next speaker who's invited to the podium is Honorable Dlamini from the Free State, the City of Roses.
Ha ke o lebohe motsamaisi wa dipuisano Ntate Kgatebe. Ke dumedise modulasetulo wa Ncop, motlatsa modulasetulo wa Ncop, sephadi sa Ncop, matona a rona a teng le batlatsa matona, ditonakgolo tsa rona tse hlomphehileng tsa di-province, dikgosi le marena a rona re le hlomphile. Ka sehlohlolong re dumedise re be re hlomphe setjhaba sa North West ka kakaretso. Dumelang. Re kopane mona tsatsing la kajeno re le ntlo ya bobedi ya palamente e bitswang Ncop, tlasa tema kapo theme e latelang: ho etsa bonnete ba ho aha mmuso wa selehae o beileng batho pele kapo batho ka hara ntshetsopele. Re tle re tsebe ho aha setjhaba se betere. Ensuring a people-centered local government towards building better communities. Re a laelwa ke tema ena re le barongwa ba setjhaba hore ho tsohle tseo re di etsang mosebetsing wa rona wa ho emela setjhaba ke ho tlisa ditshebeletso ho batho, ke mandate wa rona wa mantlha. Ene batho ba rona ba lokela ho una ho tseo mmuso o di etsang. Re boele re laelwe hore ha re ntse re fana ka ditshebeletso ho setjhaba re ske ra kgetha nku ka pere. Hoba mmuso wa rona ho tloha 1994 ha ona mmala. Mmuso wa rona ke mmuso wa setjhaba ka setjhaba. Re a tseba re le mokgatlo wa African National Congress hore di teng diphoso tse etsahetseng tse ngata, empa ha re counte diphoso tseo, re counta hore na ke eng se ntseng re di etse le hore re di lokisa jwang. Because what is important in life is not how much you fall, it's how many times you can rise and self-correct. Re lokela ho itukisa. Re rata ho leboha setjhaba sa mona North West, mohlomphehi president, ka hore amohela ka matsoho a mofuthu. Ba sebetsa le rona beke kaofela, ba hlahisa ditletlebo tsa bona, ba hlahisa dillo tsa bona. Mme re a thaba hoba ba ikutlwetse hore le di-provinceng tse ding diphephetso tse teng, ditonakgolo di hlahisitse kwano hore na di tlo rarollwa jwang. Mme le monana provinceng enana ya North West, mohlomphehi president, re lakatsa hore ntate mopremere wa kwano o etse jwalo. Hoba North West ke e nngwe ya di-province tse nang le di-minerals and resources through mining. Re lebelletse hore ntate premier le kabinete ya hao di-mineral resources tsena ha di benefite batho ba North West. mme re tla be re fulfitse theme ena ya rona ya ho beha setjhaba sa rona at the center of everything that we do. Setjhaba seso, ke lakatsa ho hlalosa hore mmuso o tshwana le lelapa. Moo nang le batswadi, le bana, le borakgadi, le bo auntie. Ha yo motswadi a ka emang a re ena o romme ngwana hae ho etsa ntho e sa lokang. Le ka hare ho mmuso o, Ntate Ramaphosa kapa dipresidente tse tlileng pele, ha yo ya romme motho o etsa ntho e sa lokang. Le wona mokgatlo wa African National Congress ha o ka ba wa roma batho lo etsa ntho tse sa lokang. Ke dikgetho tsa rona re le batho ka matla re a adingweng ho emela setjhaba re etsang dintho tse sa lokang. Mme ke sona seo re le African National Congress re lokelang hore re se hlaole ebile re eme ka maoto hona jwale hoba re ka hong botjha ya mokgatlo wa rona, re ka hong botjha le kopano le ntshetsopele ya mokgatlo wa rona re lokisa dintho tseo. Ha re ka ke ra di etsa re le bang, re tlo di etsa le lona setjhaba sa rona se hlomphehileng, re a le hloka. Dimasepala tsa rona, mohlomphehi mopresidente, di aparetswe ke mathata a ho se sebetse hantle. Le baetapele ba tswang parlamenteng, presidente le kabinete ya hae, premier le kabinete ya hae, le etse ditshepiso ho batho. Ha le qeta ho furalla, ba bang ba rona re sala re iketsetsa tsa rona. Ke tsona dintho tse etsang hore mokgatlo wa African National Congress o be le mathata a pusong. Mme ke tsona dintho tse re lokelang ho di hlaola. Bo ntate premier, ha re sebetseng ka matla le bomme premier ho lokisa dintho tseo. Setjhaba sa rona ha se tla hlotse se lakaditse ho utlwa ditshepiso, se batla ho bona diketso e leng ditshebeletso. Mohlomphehi mopresidente wa rona, dimasepaleng tsa rona re na le infrastructure e kgathetseng haholo ya bo more than 100 years. Mme infrastructure eo e hloka hore e maintainwe, e hloka hore replace-iwa. Ene ha e ka ke ya ba ntho e lokileng ya hore batho ba rona ba bona ditshebeletso ha presidente a tla. It's very bad and sad, because a se sona se re se rongweng re lo se etsa re le barongwa ba mmuso. A ke re tloeleng ho senya naha ya rona re mpe re bolokeng hoba kaofela ha rona re a e hloka. I'm alive for the fact that the municipality has limited tax base, low revenue collection, and substantial debt. But these challenges need to be addressed through collaborative innovation, political and technical leadership. Haika ke ya re administration be sebetsa against political deployment, kapo political office. That is so bad. Re lokela ho sebetsa kaofela re etse chain ya mmuso ena kaofela ye moraro e re nang le yona e leng mmuso wa kakaretso, mmuso wa di-province le mmuso wa selehae. Ha re ka ra sebetsang kaofela re atameditse setjhaba sa rona, ha re ke ra hlolwa ke letho. Yes, ke nnete, ha re ke ra kgona ho ba fa tsohle tse ba, empa batho ba rona ba batle dintho tse kgolo, ba batla dintho tsa mantlha e leng ditshebeletso. Only ho hlokahala ntate president hore re tlo sebetsang ka potlako ho etsa bonnete ba hore dillo tsa batho tse re di nkileng di a arabelwa. Mme ha di arabelwe hona jwale, empa di arabelwa ho tloha hona jwale ho isa ka ho sa feleng. Mining is the cornerstone of Northwest Province economy, generating over 50% of GDP and accounting for roughly 64% of South African platinum production. Empa re fumana ba setjhaba sa monana mookamedi e le sona se sa sebetseng ka bongata. Potso ke hore na di mine tsena di hirile bo mang? Ke seo re lokelang ho se lokisa ntate premier le kabinete ya hao. Hanke ke hlalose ka puo e le utlwisitsang setjhaba seso hore ha hona nnete ho seo bahlomphehi ba bang ba se buileng mona ka hore mo DA e busang dintho di lokile, ha hona nnete moo. Re tswa Western Cape mo ho dulang batho ba bo rona ba tshwanang le nna le lona. Maemo a bona a mabe ho feta a Northwest. Botle bo ntate ba emmeng mona ba bahlomphehi ba bo buileng le mme ke botle bo ditoropong mo phelang bona. Mara mo phelang batho ba bo rona maemo a mabe ho feta Northwest kapo any other province. Nnete e nngwe ya bobedi ke hore nthwena e bitswang corruption ha ena mmala, ha ena dilemo, ha ena bong, ha ena political affiliation. It's about the character of individual. So ho bohlokwa hore re le setjhaba re se ra thetswa hore corruption ke ya African National Congress. Because if corruption is a political party, it means Western Cape is more corrupt. It means masipala tse tshwereng ke DA hoba ha di tlise ditshebeletso ho batho le tsona, they are more corrupt. Ke lona lebaka leo setjhaba seso le ke reng ha re se ra thetswa hoba hangata re nka di-platform tse tjena re nka monyetla re be re batla ho campaignela di-political party tsa rona. Ha ile hantle NCOP mona e tlisitse parlamente ho batho ba Northwest ho tlo utlwa mathata a bona le hore re ka ba thusa jwang. As to batho ba mona ba tla votelang ke bona ba tsebang, ebile ke bona ba tsebang ba batlang. It's not upon us ho re lokela ho etsa mosebetsi wa rona wa ho ba di-public representative re be re ba thaothela hore votela ka di-4 tsa November because re a ba thetsa. Gauteng province e sebetsa hantle ntle le DA, ebile ena mathata, dintho di a tsamaya. Ha se nnete hore mo DA e leng teng ntho di a loka hee. Hobaneng phoso e etswa ke motho ha e etswe ke mokgatlo o mo rommeng. Mme re tlo hlaola re sebetsa mmoho re le NCOP e eteletsweng pele ke mme Refilwe. Re tlo hlaola re sebetsa mmoho le di-province tsa rona le di-masipala, re hlaola bohlaswa bo teng, mme re mema setjhaba hore se tle se be le rona moo leetong la rona la ho hlaola. Le se ke la tjhaba setjhaba sa bo rona hore criticize rona as the ANC. You must criticize us, you must tell us when you are wrong. Our responsibility and task ko tlo ikokobetsa ka pela lona e seng re be arrogant. Ke ka hona letsatsing le re tlisitseng parlamente ho lona re tlo ikokobetsa re sa le laele ebile re le hlomphile. Ha ke qetela motsamaisi wa dipuisano ke rata ho ensure
Order, honorable members. Order.
Ha ke qetela ke rata ho netefaletsa mohlomphehi mo president wa rona le ditonakgolo tsa rona tse eteletseng di-province hore rona re le ntlo ena ya NCOP re ikemiseditse hore re tlo sebetsa le lona re le tshehetse ka hohle ka mokgo le ka kgonang. Re kopa le lona le re atomela ha mmoho le bo majoro ba rona di-districting le di-masipaleng. Re tlo etsa bonnete ntate president ya hore oversight yona ke ntho re tlo etsa until the end of this term. Bophelo ba rona re le NCOP mme re filo o itse ha e sa le ho dula ka hara chamber empa e se le ho tla bathong. Jwale re le NCOP hobaneng re ditsebe le molomo wa batho ba Afrika Borwa ba di-province le di-masipala. Re tlo dula re na le lona le re atomelela ntse re le Cape Town le re ngolle mangolo le lle re tlo tla ho lona re tlo lokisa dintho tseo re di tshepisitseng beke tse pele tse fetileng ntate president re kgutlile bekeng ena re entse di-interventions and batho ba ilana ba paka mona hore di-intervention tseo di a sebetsa so setjhaba sa North West re le rata haholo re le Ncop re le rata haholo re le mmuso honana o eteletsweng pele wa GNU ke ntate Ramaphosa ebile re a le hlompha re tlo sebetsa le lona re kopa fela hore re beng le mamellano empa botlokotsebe le dintho tse sa lokang tsona re ske ra di mamella re di hlaole ntate mookamedi president re kopa hore le ntate premier le eketse sesole ka ro North West le rona re le tjena mohlomphehi president re ile ga tshoswa re le maloko a parliament ga thola dikholo some of us hore re tlo bolawa ga kana ga tswela pele ga etsa se re se etsang mme re lakatsa hore re etse bonnete ba hore re netefaletse setjhaba sa kwano hore la re ka ba ga tshoswa re no ba le ya ka North West re tla dula re ntse re le teng jwalo ka di-provinceng tse ding kaofela so sesole ha se eketsehe ntate mookamedi ka ro North West hoba dizamazama di bonahala di nkile matla a mmuso e le wona mmuso jwale ihlile di hlobaetsa le batho ho thwe monana mohlomphehi president districting ena ho thungwa ha motho ha se letho letsatsi le letsatsi batho ba ka thungwa mme re lakatsa hore re re ho baahi ba North West
Honorable Dlamini, your time is up.
viva lona re re rata haholo
Order, honorable members. Can we please take our seats? I now have a pleasure to invite His Excellency, the President of the Republic of South Africa, to take the podium and close the debate.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Chairperson of the Council of Provinces, Deputy Chairperson of the Council of Provinces, I stand on the protocol that has been established and the protocol I also articulated at the beginning. I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to close this Ncop plenary, which has in many ways been robust and constructive and which has focused on the issues that affect and concern the people of the Northwest, and may I add, the country as a whole. For as the chairperson of the Ncop and the deputy chairperson and the Secretary of Parliament and other officials have brought Parliament to the people of Northwest, they have effectively brought Parliament to the whole country, as many of our people will have been following these proceedings. And I'd like to thank everyone who has participated in this plenary and to the many citizens of this area, Matlosane, who came to all the engagements that were held and to be part of this very special occasion. Participating in a process like this is important because taking parliament to the people is one of the most important ways of deepening democracy, strengthening legitimacy, and rebuilding trust between the citizens of our country and the state. It transforms Parliament from being seen as a distant institution in a capital city or in parliamentary city in Cape Town into a living instrument of public participation and accountability as members of Parliament give themselves time to be amongst the people. At its core, it also gives practical meaning to the constitutional principle that says the people shall govern. This visit has made the Ncop delegates aware of the severe challenges affecting our people here in the municipalities across the province, but it is also across many other provinces, ranging from political instability, financial management, and lack of service delivery. This visit by the Ncop must reinforce the work of national, provincial, and local government through the district development model to fix the problems of our municipalities. And I'd like to thank the premiers as well as the MECs of our various provinces for being here to articulate precisely what they are doing in their various provinces. Many and all indeed have articulated really forward-looking plans, setting out the work that is being done, good work in the most part of what is happening. What I have heard is a most powerful message of hope after this parliamentary outreach visit. And that is about the fact that democracy is listening. The state has not abandoned the people of our country, and the future can still be shaped through collective action, partnership, and accountability. This visit says, it communicates that Parliament did not come here to merely observe the problems that our people are going through, but to help to unlock solutions and to renew the social contract between citizens and the democratic state. We should not be dismissive of the fact that a lady who has not had a house for a long time, or the one who's had a house where sewage was spilling through her house, was immediately fixed. We should not dismiss that. That is intervention. Intervention has been made. What we should hope for and demand is that there should be continuous intervention solving those individual problems and collective problems on an ongoing basis. People facing unemployment, poverty, crime, energy shortages, or failing infrastructure are less interested in political point scoring than in practical solutions. It was sad for me to hear some political point scoring here. When parties spend all their energy blaming one another, humiliating opponents, or weaponizing every mistake, government effectiveness suffers. We must remember this saying that when you live in a glass house, do not throw stones, because when you do throw stones, those stones can also come to your house. And when colleagues continuously say, we are better, we are this and this, and others continuously say, you have to go to a particular area of the same city that is said to be the best. And when you go there, you see the very worst conditions ever. And I have seen that with my own eyes. And now it is said that the people who live, for instance, in Cape Town, in Philippi, and other places, their conditions are even much worse than you can find here in the Northwest. That should tell us something. There's a message in that. So in the end, we should rise from here with hope. Hope that this session, this engagement, has given rise to hope. Hope is generally abroad in our country. It is spreading right throughout. Many of the delegates who spoke here, premiers, MECs, and other speakers, spoke about how hope is spreading in the areas where they are. And indeed, there is hope. So we should speak about the hope, because for our people, we should say, the coming of Parliament here means that your voice matters. Your voice is being heard. Also, government still has the capacity to change lives, and communities should be partners in development. Now, South Africa has overcome bigger challenges before, and we intend to continue to do so. We have a big challenge of jobs. The creation of jobs depends on an increase in investment. We need to see more and more investment coming into our country from local firms, from offshore firms, but also we need to create spaces for those who want to do business so that they do business and increase investment from which we will derive growth. Our investment drive is yielding significant results as it is. Over the last 5 years, a total of 634 billion rand of investment has been pledged, and a lot of it has now already been spent on projects. At the 6th South Africa Investment Conference, and let me pause and say, one of the things that many people don't realize and should really, really applaud is that soon as we started holding our own national conference for investment, our provinces, one after the other, started holding their own investment conferences. And at those investment conferences, they have been able to garner a lot of investors who have pledged to invest in the provinces as well. So in that regard, I applaud the premiers. I truly applaud our premiers for taking forward the vision that we have had, that there should be localized investment commitments, localized investment going into various projects. I welcome that. And when you agglomerate all those commitments, and when you agglomerate the various projects that are ongoing in our country, we can safely say that South Africa is becoming and is going to lead in becoming a building or a construction site. You see it all over. I go to the Eastern Cape, I see construction. I go to KZN, I see that construction. I go to Gauteng, I see new cities, literally new cities being built. And I see tremendous infrastructure projects. And I go to Northern Cape, I go to many of our provinces, and I see that. It is the result of the work that is being done by our premiers, by our provincial councils, our MECs, and I want to applaud them for all the work that they do. And I will give you a round of applause, even if I'm alone. So at our investment conference, we raised quite a lot of money, but coming to where we are, at the 6th investment conference, companies pledged investments totaling 30 billion into renewable energy and mining in the Northwest. And when you combine it with what the province is raising as well in investment, it is higher. The 1 trillion that we have allocated to infrastructure over the next 3 years will increase economic activity and create jobs, both directly and indirectly. One of the critical industries for the Northwest is mining, which correctly accounts for about 52% of the GDP of this province. And obviously, the Northwest is the platinum province, is where we get the most of the platinum in our country, although Limpopo also shares as that. Where we have seen a decline in production in other areas, mining still remains a mainstay for us. That is why we have dedicated resources to further exploration for our mineral resources, because Northwest is a mineral-rich province. But the whole of South Africa is mineral-rich. That's why we are dedicating money from the fiscus for exploration so that we can open more mines and add value to the country as well. We're focusing on building the agricultural sector by releasing state land for agriculture and providing more support and funding for emerging black farmers. On water, we are investing significantly in bulk water infrastructure to ensure that there is enough water supply for areas in our country that have serious water challenges. The National Water Crisis Committee is providing support to municipalities to ensure that they are able to maintain their water infrastructure and ensure supply of quality water to all households and businesses in our country. Premier Zamani Soul gave a proper account of how far our country has moved from where we were in 1994 in the most statistical way, to say we have moved forward. And let it be said that we are not stuck in one place. We are continuing to move forward. That's 8% or so of people in our country who do not have electricity. Eskom is rolling out to all those. Those areas that do not really have water, we are working on that. And we are working to improve the road network and infrastructure in our country. Yes, what has held us back is the focus that we placed on the social welfare of our people. 61% of our budget goes to social welfare. As poverty was rising, as our students needed more support at the universities for free education, as we found that we need to establish early childhood development centers so that the mistake that we made right at the beginning should be corrected, because for education, that's where we should have started. In 1994, early childhood development, formalize it, put it under basic education rather than put it under social development. Now, we are turning that wheel and we're delegating, or we're committing more money. As we face COVID, we needed to support the livelihoods of our people and had to allocate 54 billion rand just for that. So what that led to is an increase in social welfare, a decline in the more important investments that we should put in place. And we also declined, truth be told, on defense spending, on supporting the police. Now we are correcting all those programs, or those problems. And we are moving forward. We are moving forward in quite a determined way. For a country like ours, for the first time in its history, to commit 1 trillion rand in infrastructure means that we are serious about moving South Africa forward. The reforms that we have embarked upon are also demonstrative of the fact that we are moving forward. We are not stuck in one place. We are undertaking those reforms in water, we're doing so in electricity, and ensuring that we reposition the economy of our country so that it's primed for growth going forward. Those areas that still have load reduction, where there are still challenges for electricity, are areas that ESCOM, together with the Ministry of Electricity and Energy, are working on and ensuring that we rid our country not only what we've done well with load shedding, but also with load reduction. As you well know, we have to build 14,000 kilometers of transmission lines so that as we generate more energy, either through renewables or otherwise, even nuclear, we're able to have the grid that will support all that. That is going to require almost 400 billion. So all those projects are projects that we are working on. We are pushing ahead and restructuring the various areas that drive the economy of our country. On housing, there's been a slowdown in the delivery of houses here in the Northwest and across the country. That is why we are changing the housing delivery model so that it is led by people's needs. We've built almost 4 million houses, and we've slowed down for all the reasons that I set out. But now we need to ramp up and come up with a model. On roads, a significant portion of our infrastructure, and I heard complaints that potholes are replete throughout the country. That is true. And now our SANRAL, which is dedicated to building roads, and also we need to now build our roads at provincial level as well as local level. We're focusing on that because a country that does not have roads will never grow its economy. And that is why they say, if you want to get rich, the Chinese say, if you want to get rich, build a road. And that's what we are now focusing on. On crime and safety, we are putting in place a dedicated strategy to tackle organized crime and to dismantle the criminal networks that are driving much of the crime in our country. And we're focusing also on illegal mining, including here in the Northwest. And Premier Lusufi talks positively about how the SANDF has helped to eliminate mining, illegal mining in Gauteng. Yes, we will bring the SANDF here as well, so that it can come and help. We didn't speak much about education, and education being the bedrock of what we need to do to improve our economy. We must ensure that young people have the skills that they need to find jobs. There's been a mismatch between the skill base of our young people and the jobs that are needed in the economy. So we are solving all that. We are undertaking an overhaul of the skills development system. And this includes strengthening the CETA system and reviewing it, and the National Skills Fund. We're working to ensure that our TVET colleges are more closely aligned with industry and with the provision of workplace experience. Here in Northwest, we should have a university that just focuses on mining. That's what we need. And we will be looking at that as well. Where the economy of the Northwest province, the GDP is 52%, we need to be generating on an ongoing basis, in a massive way, the skills that we need in those mines, metallurgical skills, engineering skills, environmental skills, and mining skills as well. We are expanding and investing in early childhood development, I've touched on that. We haven't spoken about health. We're going ahead with the preparations for the NHI strengthening so that it can strengthen our health system. And that is a given. It is going to happen. Whether people like it or not, we cannot continue having a health system that is underpinned by apartheid of the past. We must rid our country of all vestiges of apartheid so that our people can have the better life that they were denied. We have also committed to a construction and refurbishment of our hospitals. On governance, the key effective development and service delivery is a government that is clean, capable, and developmental. We have to make changes at the local government level. That is a given, and I'm glad that there's commitment that the white paper process should move ahead and we should finalize it as quickly as possible so that we can reform our local government system. So I leave this community with renewed conviction that the future of our country is not hopeless. We have seen the resilience of our people. We've seen the determination of our young people as well, and the wisdom of our elders, and the courage of communities that continue to strive for a better life, even as we face immense challenges. Parliament, in the end, has not come here merely to listen and depart. We come as representatives of a democratic nation, determined to ensure that the voices of the people must shape the priorities of the state. Now, the road ahead may be a difficult road, and it will be difficult, but the story of our nation has always been one of overcoming adversity through unity, through courage, and through collective effort. Now, if we work together, ha re ka sebetsa mmoho, re tswele pele re sebetse mmoho, re hlotse apartheid ka ho sebetsa mmoho, kaofela rona. Le bao ba ne ba le di-advocates tsa apartheid, kajeko lena, ke bona ba re jwetsang hore le rona we were anti-apartheid. We accept that, but we work together to bring apartheid to an end. We must now forge ahead, working together as government, business, labor, civil society, and our traditional leaders and communities. There is no challenge that is beyond our capacity to solve. What has happened here through coming as the NCOP has also given me a lot of courage that the national dialogue process, which is going to go ahead in earnest, is also going to be well received, and our people will engage in that process with a great deal of enthusiasm, and our people will come forward and articulate their views, their fears, and their hopes. Hope is not the denial of our challenges. Hope is the belief that together we possess the strength, the wisdom, and the determination to overcome those challenges. The future of our country is still ours to build. It is not a future that will be built by the politicians in Cape Town, by the executive in the union buildings. It is a future that belongs to all of us, and that is why we say we must work together. When our forebears ended drafting the Freedom Charter, they said, these dreams and aspirations we shall work for side by side until we have won our total freedom. That is what we should be saying. For these challenges, we will work to eliminate them, to solve them, until we have won that hope of the South Africa of our dreams. Arisebenzeng mmoho. So thank you very much. It's been a most fruitful day being here. Ke a leboha.
Thank you, honorable members. You may take your seats. Order, honorable members. Please, let's take our seats. Honorable members, this marks the end of our visit in the province of Bokone, Bophirima. As the President has already stated in his opening remarks, we will be taking the issues from the people here back to Parliament, to the provincial legislature, as well as to the Council of Matlosana. Us as NCOP, we will be at the center of coordinating the responses. We will come back to report to the people as part of ensuring that the matters they raise are attended to and ensuring government accountability. We want to thank many people who contributed to the success of this program. The staff who began conducting research and visiting the area to collaborate in work with local officials, the MPs who undertook oversight visits in various areas in preparation for this important gathering. The people who guided us on the issues they wanted tabled and considered. Our civil society groups, the service providers without whom this visit would not have been possible. I thank in particular the permanent as well as the special delegates to the NCOP, the members of the Northwest Provincial Legislature, the President of Salga, and the leadership and administration of the City of Matlosana local municipality under the stewardship of our executive mayor and the speaker, as well as our district executive mayor, and everybody who participated in the activities during this week. And above all, the community of Matlosana for their constructive participation and contribution in their program. And finally, with utmost humility, I would like to thank the President, our premiers, as well as the emissaries for joining us here today and outlining the imperatives of this program and what government is doing. Having said that, honorable members, that brings us to the end of our business today. May I once more request you to remain seated whilst the procession leaves the chamber. The House is adjourned. Thank you.